going, everybody? So we've made it. We're finally here. The season 2 finale of Gen V is upon us. And I have to say, I have really enjoyed covering the show all season long. And I've had a blast talking about it with you guys in the comment section. So thank you guys so much for interacting each and every week. Heading into this finale, it seemed like the big twist of it all. You know, Cypher actually being Thomas Godolkin. I'd say it went over pretty well, despite some people finding it kind of predictable. I still think regardless of the predictability aspect, it is a pretty good twist. I did like that we opened up the finale, getting a little bit more context to Thomas Godolkin's backstory, finishing off the flashbacks that we saw earlier in the season. Not that I feel bad for the guy, but how unfortunate is it to be engulfed in flames right after injecting yourself with Compound V? Which, speaking of that, I had to laugh that this show actually did answer immediately one of the questions that I was curious about as far as Thomas Godolkin and why he looks so young. Because clearly this incident happened back in the 1960s and he was old then, so he would be way older now. Turns out the version of Compound V that he took is the same one that Soldier Boy and Stormfront took. So that basically means he does not age. Besides that detail, the relationship between him and Sister Sage, their partnership just feels so odd to me. I guess it is more of an intellectual partnership. Realistically, I guess it isn't a massive surprise either that Sister Sage was behind a lot of the stuff we've seen building up the season. It was her idea to plant the info for Starlight to find, leading to Marie going back to God U. Personally, it does kind of kill some of the fun that Cypher, Thomas Godolkin, whomever you want to call this character, they're obviously very intelligent, but as we'll learn eventually in this finale, he is not all that competent without her guidance. In the midst of everyone dealing with the fallout of Marie healing Thomas Godolkin, as messed up as everybody seems to be in this group, understandably so, I really did appreciate Marie, Emma, and Kate bonding over having one another to lean on with all these dark feelings they've been having to overcome about themselves. This finale has a lot of highs and lows of emotion. One moment, Marie apologizes to Kate and heals her so she can use her powers again effectively. Considering I'm somebody that was kind of on the fence about Kate more or less throughout some of the season as far as her proving that she actually had shown remorse and she's trying to be a hero and not, you know, double cross and betray them again, I genuinely do believe that she actually is on the good guys now. As for the lows of emotions, I'm upset because Jordan believes that them and Marie are better off just being friends with all the drama they have going on. To be fair, I do completely understand the rationale because the drama they've been put through for season 1 and especially season 2, it's been pretty messy. I still think they're gonna end up together. I mean, let's be real. It's always the will they, won't they. Though I guess technically he is kind of expendable now, I gotta admit I was finding myself very endeared to Doug as a character. Honestly, how can you not feel bad for the guy being a backseat passenger in his own body for an insane period of time? I mean, he was talking about working at Blockbuster. We clearly know Thomas Godolkin's been using this body for quite a long period of time because Cypher was around when Marie was born. And that makes me feel horrible for him, the fact that he was in this position for decades upon decades while Godolkin did all these horrible things in his body. When he started opening up to Polarity about how great Andre was and how much he loved him, that really did hit me in the feels. It almost felt like the writers and the showrunners themselves were trying to describe Chance Perdomo and kind of eulogize him in a way. Unfortunately, since this is the boys universe and anytime we have anything positive or uplifting or endearing and emotional, it's usually undercut almost immediately by something horrible and tragic happening, which literally happens seconds later, thanks to Black Noir stabbing Doug through the roof and killing him and capturing Polarity. Not gonna lie, because we knew Black Noir was gonna be in this season in one way or another because he was in the trailers, I figured there was gonna be at least some type of skirmish, big battle. You know, it's Black Noir. He is an iconic character of the Seven. Kind of underwhelming usage in my opinion. His little debate he has about aliens is funny and all, but besides that, you could have put like any other superhero character in that role and it would have just been the exact same result. This entire section actually is one of my least favorite parts of the finale. When you couple that with Sage clearly allowing Polarity to escape confinement since she doesn't like Thomas going off script from their Homelander plan. Now that he's in full focus for this finale, I really have to give Ethan Slater his flowers. I have not really seen him act a whole lot. Most people know him as Ariana Grande's boyfriend. We don't really know how great of an actor he is, but I'm impressed with his performance overall. I think he does a really great job elevating what we initially saw through Hamish Linklater's Cypher, only becoming even more ominous, highlighting how much stronger he's becoming. Like, it's actually kind of insane that now he has full control of his body and he's healed. He is so much stronger now compared to what we saw when he was just piloting Cypher, pushing these entire groups of students at the same time, making them prove they're worthy of being at the school. The unfortunate aspect to Thomas Godolkin, though, and inevitably is his downfall, is his superiority complex and the rhetoric that he believes that truly is his major character flaw. One of his claims certainly does have some validity regarding Homelander specifically, in that Homelander embraces these weaker heroes in the Seven to prop himself up as the strongest superhero. Where he starts to go too far with his aspirations, ultimately leading Sage to not being on the same page as well, is this idea he wants to deviate from the plan and get so strong that not only could he control Marie, but also be so strong that he could actually control Homelander. A very wild aspiration to believe in, and you can tell right off the bat when Sister Sage hears this, she is not down for that. That is not what she seems to have in store for her plan. This showdown with Marie and Thomas Godolkin, some of it did feel like some deja vu, another face-off in this room. How instead it's students being mind-controlled. When I tell you how gagged I was when they used that frat guy in his ability that he has where he can just like poop people out basically, essentially turning him into a Trojan horse, storing everybody else for a sneak attack. Not only was that moment hilarious, that is not the worst, most ridiculous part of this entire final battle, at least in my opinion. Most absurd moment to me is the combination of Emma getting huge, kicking Thomas, and then Allie wrapping him up with her bush powers so Harper can copy his powers. Again, not a sentence I ever thought I would ever say, even in the boys universe where there's so many ludicrous things going on, might be the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in Gen V. While it is a tad on the nose that they proved to Godolkin that these lesser superheroes, the ones he feels are so inferior, are the ones that inevitably take him down, ultimately, I figured this exchange, this final battle, if you will, just was way too easy. Expectedly, Thomas Godolkin eventually takes over Marie, incapacitate everyone. Now, I know I'm supposed to feel some high stakes tension and danger in this sequence because it seems like, you know, she might actually kill some of her friends. Unfortunately, the danger level didn't really feel that high to me personally, largely since it was so telegraphed earlier on that Polarity was going to come in and save the day, if you will, because we knew the Sister Sage freed him and then his powers negate Thomas Godolkin's mind control. Even if I've seen Newman do it time and time again in The Boys, it still is incredibly nasty to me when anyone's head gets popped like a gusher. If I can't have Victoria Newman back, at least it's cool that Marie has learned Newman's signature move to use on people. For as intriguing and compelling as Thomas Godolkin / Cypher was as an antagonist throughout Gen V Season 2, it's almost a shame that his beliefs and superiority and arrogance to go off script from Sage's plan ultimately led to him being an idiot and dying. Now that Thomas Godolkin is not involved in these ongoing future plans, though, that's going to be another interesting wrinkle heading into that final season of The Boys on what is Sister Sage's plan moving forward. How is she going to pivot? Because, you know, she still has a lot of plans in store that we'll probably see. Speaking of the final season of The Boys, this epilogue here for this season has me even more excited for that final season. I cannot wait because it's more clear than ever that we are integrating the Gen V cast into that final season thanks to Annie and A-Train meeting up with them, offering for them to join the Resistance. To be fair, Marie and I guess Kate probably are the ones that are going to be the most important in fighting back because they are the most powerful of the group, specifically Marie, because she is like god tier Omega level on Homelander's level. Nevertheless, I am super excited to see how the rest of the team interacts with, you know, Huey, Mother's Milk. Maybe not so much Butcher, because Butcher is the one that killed Victoria Newman, so Marie will probably be pretty pissed off at him. I mean, who knows? Maybe Marie and Butcher are the ones that are going to square off in the final season of The Boys, and she's ultimately going to be the one that takes him down. If I were a betting man, I would guarantee there's going to be some level of actual battle between Marie and Homelander in the final season of The Boys. On the semi-bright side, Eric Kripke does have plans for a potential season 3 of Gen V, so it's not like Gen V season 2 is going to be the last season, it's going to just roll over into the final season of The Boys. Ultimately, it comes down to us watching the show, talking about it online, because I really enjoy the show, whether it's connected to The Boys wholeheartedly or not. I want to see these characters continue to grow no matter what ends up happening in the final season of The Boys. Once you get a chance to check out this finale for season 2 of Gen V, though, make sure you share your thoughts down below. Did you like the finale? Did you not like the finale? Where do you think we're going in the final season of The Boys after everything they set up here? And where do you think we could go for a season 3 of Gen V? Thank you guys, as always, for checking out videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you like on the video and also subscribe to the channel to make reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Until the next time, I'll see you guys later.